Hey guys, 30 and Still Gaming here with yet another video. On today's episode, I would like to talk about, now that the dust has settled a little bit with the 30 FPS talk and the 60 FPS talk and consoles and downgrades and cancellations, I want to just talk about why everyone feels this way for this particular game. Everyone's making comparisons to other single-player games, and I read into what they put on Discord, right? I'm going to break it down. I'm going to read that to you. But before I get to that, please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And you'll want to stay to the end of the video because I ask a question. And all of these videos are more about you, the community, and me making the videos. I want to have a conversation. And the comment section, I read every single comment, every single one. And I give you my little, my little heart symbol in there to know that I read yours and I acknowledged you. So if you could give me the same effort that I give you by reading all the comments, wait till the end of the video. I have a question to ask you guys. Let's get to it. So I'm trying to come up with a list of games. I did a search of Unreal Engine 4 games because that's what this Gotham Knights is created on, right? And what I found out was there's no games like Gotham Knight, and this is me not being a fanboy of Gotham Knights, right? We haven't even played it yet, haven't really seen anything yet. What I'm saying is, based on the technology of what their statement was, they said, I know many of you are wondering about the availability of performance mode in Gotham Knights on the console due to the types of features we have in our game, like providing a fully untethered co-op experience in our highly detailed open world. It's not as straightforward as lowering the resolution and getting higher frame rates per second, for the reason our game does not have a performance or quality toggle option and will run at 30 frames on console. Now, when I did the research, a lot of the games that came up were all Unreal Engine 4 games that were like survival games. And some of the survival games are Ark, Conan, Grounded, okay? Those three games are all made on the Unreal Engine 4, and they're all co-op games. They're all multiplayer games, wide open areas, right? Then you have Sea of Thieves, which is on Unreal Engine 4 as well, but it's not fully detailed internally of buildings and exterior. And yes, Sea of Thieves has buildings that you can go in, but not as dense and stuff as what's in Gotham. Now again, we don't know. I don't know firsthand yet until we play it. Once we play it, my thought process might change completely and be like, yeah, you know what? They have no excuse for what they did. But right now, think of it. Think of a game that is at the requirements that they ask for, with the co-op going on wide open map in depth, right? In the IGN interview months ago, they talked about how there's like layers of the cities. So there's like an underground, and then it goes above, and there's lots and lots of layers to the city. So what you see on the map is not just, that's just the first layer. So there's lots of stuff in the city to explore. And I think we have to, as gamers, I know you want to get your pitchforks out and whatnot, but I think we have to give them at least the opportunity to play the game and then criticize why they couldn't do the 60 frames per second. Because, Borderlands 3, which people hated as well. Lots of people hated. But it's a co-op game. It's a wide open map. But it does have, different locations. So it's not as a wide open, one open map. But I would say that that's maybe one, right? 60 frames per second on the new gen consoles. But again, it doesn't fit the same description. There's not another game that does 60 frames per second with the same criteria as what they're saying. All the games that run 60 frames per second are single-player games. Now, Grounded is a co-op game running on the Xbox that is 60 frames per second. Again, it's an open-world backyard, lots of detail within the landscape of it, and it does run. But that's the only one I can think of. If you guys can think of another one, please let me know in the comment section down below. So you're asking me, 30, why are you bringing up these games? I'm bringing up these games because I like to have conversations with people, and I know right when something happens, everyone likes to just burst out and be that initial, when someone tweets something and you get really angry and you tweet, sometimes you should just delete that tweet instead of hitting send. You got to think about it for a second. And I can't think of any games that are like Gotham using the Unreal Engine. Now, you could think of a game. I have a game in my mind where it's just like Division or Division 2, which is the closest that I can come. Large, detailed city, co-op, that you can then move across the land in separate directions of the people that you're going with, right? But at the same time, there are little instances, because you go to different maps, like if you're going to the zoo or the Capitol, whatever. There's like little sections that could happen. But the map itself is a pretty large map that you can explore, but that's on Snowdrop. That's not on Unreal Engine. So Snowdrop is a completely different engine and a completely different source, right? So that's the closest that I can come up with. But I would like to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I think sometimes we just have to sit back and think about and compare. Like, everyone wants to compare this to Batman. All right, well, let's do that. The Batman series is a single-player game that was detailed, right? You could go around Gotham City and whatnot, and it was very beautiful, but it was by yourself. This game, in my opinion, has raised the bar where it didn't raise the bar for other things. It sacrificed certain things so you could get co-op. Sort of like people wanted a Fallout game, and people always wanted a co-op game. Instead, we got Fallout 76, and people were upset, but there's people that really like that game. But it was co-op. Now they did like a multiplayer world, made a completely different thing. You can go in different directions and whatnot. But people were upset because it just didn't hit the mark. They didn't ask for it. They didn't ask for it. Well, they raised the bar. They took a Fallout game, and then they made it more than co-op. They made it co-op with multiplayer, and it's like a MMO light type of thing, right? Gotham Knights, in my opinion, has done something different and has raised the bar from their last game. Now, if we just compare Batman Origins to the Gotham Knights game that's coming out in just 1 week's time, and we give it a week, and we start playing that, and people start dissecting it and looking at all the stuff, we're going to have a better conversation here. But as of just looking at it 30,000 feet up in the air, Origins was a great game. Not the best game of the Batman series. It's separate from the other three, but it's still a Batman game. And they did a wonderful job. Now, what did they do in that game? They gave us lots of villains. There was DLC and different characters that you could play. Okay, there's a glitch where you can play like in the open world or whatnot, but it's not co-op. Okay, this, they decided, all right, well, we're going to give you 4 players to play in this game. We're going to make it co-op so you can play 2 players. Then they threw in a 4-player co-op mode, which is a separate mode completely. And they've all done this in this game. So yeah, maybe the graphics are not as good. Maybe the frame rate is just the same. Those games were 30 frames per second in the past, and people played them and loved them for what they were. I think a lot of people are being a little too harsh on what's happening right now, and I think a lot of people, they just want to hate this game. They just want to hate this game, and believe me, if you guys watch my live streams and stuff, I'm harsh on certain games and not on others, right? But I always do critiques, and I always give it a fair shake, and nobody's played it, and the people that have played it are giving their opinions, and there are red flags for me with this game. There's a lot about this game that we don't know, but sometimes you gotta just sit back, wait, and if you are upset about this game and you want to just hate this game for whatever reasons, if it's because it's not on last gen, because it's not 60 frames per second, because it doesn't have your character in there, and Batman's dead and Joker's not in the game, and whatever it is, you shouldn't buy the game, right? You shouldn't buy the game. You should just wait and sit back and then let it go. If you don't care about the game, then move on and move on to a different game that you do care about. But you are looking at these videos and you are keeping up with the news because you have interest in the game. You want this game to be something that you want to spend your money on, right? That's facts, right? The people that hate are usually the people that love that IP or game the most, and they're disappointed because of certain things. But then others just like to just pile on because it's fun for them. Some people just want to see the world burn, right? As Alfred Pennyworth said to Batman. I forget which Batman it was, but he said it nonetheless, right? I just think a lot of people are overreacting, and I think you're going to pick up the game regardless. I think people are going to pick it up on sale. And let me tell you, if you can't play 30 frames per second 30 frames per second at $70 or 30 frames per second at, $40 or $30, it's still 30 frames. It's not going to, I mean, yeah, you're paying less money for it, but it's still 30 frames. So if you can't play it because of 30 frames, then you're never going to buy the game, right? So we can continue this conversation, because this is why I make these videos. I love the comment section, right? So right now in the comment section down below, if you made it this far, first off, I appreciate you very much. Hit that 100, right? Put 100 in the comment section down below so I know that you watched it up to this point, okay? And the conversation that I want to have is, I would like you to name a Unreal Engine 4 game that's a open world co-op game that you can go and do whatever you want on two separate sides of the map on Unreal Engine, okay? Just on the details that they said inside the Discord, all right? So the actual parameters I would like for this conversation is what exactly they said. They said, fully untethered co-op experience is our highly detailed open world. It's not straightforward as lowering the resolution and getting a higher frames per second. So I would like someone in the comment section, and we can go back and forth either in the comment section, or I'll make another video providing a fully untethered co-op experience in highly detailed open world. And that is what we're doing today. And I just want to make it clear, this is me not taking any sides of the devs or the other people that just don't want to, I don't want to be a hater and I'm going to be a lover. I just want to know what another game like this game is that we can actually have a conversation and compare it to, because if there's another co-op game that's using Unreal Engine 4 that's in the same parameters as an open world detailed game, then I would love to have the conversation of they didn't do as good as this or whatever. I appreciate you very much. If you like this type of video, please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And as always, I do appreciate you very much. And if you could hit that subscribe button, because we're on our way to 1,000, and I know we're going to hit it sooner rather than later. Take care.